an additional access, he has to request for it with a justification, so that you have a complete audit trail on why he has requested this additional privilege and what he is using it for. Choosing the right solution. Now, if you have seen in the market, there should be at least 100 plus vendors who are doing this PAM as a solution. So you need to identify the use cases which you need to implement in your organization, depending on what roles, how the services are done, or how the resources are managed, on what features you will be looking at from the PAM solution. Based on that and the market reliability of these products, you need to choose the right solutions in place. Last is monitor your account with analytics. So privilege accounts has to be monitored very regularly and ensured that there are no credentials which are leaked out. So this is also ensured through a PAM solution, because you have an automated password rotation policy which is set in your password vault. So any critical asset, you will not have a password given to any of the administrators. It is typically like a one-time password or a one-week password. So this password rotation happens automatically backend without even the knowledge of the administrator. So anybody who is trying to access any of the critical resources, a new password is given to him so that he has only the right level of access to that critical resource. So where does a PAM fit in? So continuous PAM use case discovery model is what is commonly used in the market. So one is inventory of all PAM use cases. What all use cases you want to implement in your environment? You need to identify that first. One is like shared accounts or passwords, service accounts, embedded and hard-coded accounts, cloud applications. So these are typical use cases which you need to develop internally and see what all use cases you need to fit into your organization. This will be a continuous process. So today's applications or accounts may not be common after 6 months. It could be completely different. You might have moved some of the applications to cloud. So you have a new monster to manage, which is your cloud-based application. Second is identifying your users. So you need to secondly identify who are the users who will be accessing any critical resource through the PAM. So determine what access has to be given for each user. So if it is an L1 engineer, what level of access he gets. If it is an L2 engineer, what level of access he gets. And if he is an L3 engineer, what level of access he gets. Okay, this can be defined as a one-time activity, or you can say the least privilege model, where you give the least privileges to all these users, and whenever they request for additional privileges provided. Third one is identify resource owners. Now, who will be the right person to tell you what level of access each type of user requires? That will be the owner of that key resource. For example, an application. So the application owner or the business owner of that application will be able to tell you who all are the users who needs additional access and what level of access each person does. Example, a DBA does not need any access to the application. He can just be given an access to the database server to do his regular activities. Refine and clean up access. Now, this is an important step which usually people miss out. Okay, refine and clean up access means you will have created multiple accounts or multiple users in each of the critical resources. Some of these users must have left the organization and some of the accounts were created on a temporary purpose for a vendor to log in. So these accounts need to be cleaned up on a regular basis. So once you have a PAM implemented, this can be done automatically. So I've just created few use cases for 3 sectors. What are the key influences for them to go for a PAM solution? One is audit and compliance. So as you know, banking and financial services sector is the very key on security. So they need to secure all their transactions. So they have strict compliances which have come in saying that any administrative access has to be monitored, has to be logged and controlled. Second is security. Any loss which is happening for financial services through security breach is a heavy loss, because the amount which you see are staggering and it is in millions of dollars. Third is application passwords. So as you know, financial sector actually uses lot of applications, small applications which are used to complete their day-to-day activities. So these applications, nobody actually bothers on how these passwords or accounts are managed or what privilege these applications have to other applications, which are the core applications of the bank. So maybe there is a BPM process running backend which has access to the core banking, and you have given an administrative privilege and it is hard coded. So these application passwords have to be strictly managed through a privilege account management solution. Second use case I've used is healthcare. So healthcare also requires a compliance called HIPAA. So this actually mandates all user data and any access and any violations has to be recorded and kept in a secure environment, and that too for a very long period of time. So any logging for any access has to be logged for, I think, a minimum of 5 years. Then many of the healthcare organizations carry valuable research data. So they do their own researches, manufacturing of medicines or whatever it is. So these researches are worth millions of dollars. Any breach to these applications or any breach to this research data is actually loss of billions of dollars for these companies. Third critical system is the industrial control system. So what is an industrial control system? So you've seen that many of the machines are actually managed by an IT environment. So you have a computer which is pre-programmed to control multiple manufacturing devices through a SCADA or any other protocol. So the first thing is somebody who gets access to these IT resources which are connected to manufacturing units actually controls the manufacturing unit. It can bring down the complete manufacturing process or it can manipulate what is being manufactured. So this is a key sector where a privilege account management solution is required. So the earlier you detect the attack and stop the attack, it's better for the organization because your production is the main key to your business. So let's see what the industry analysts say. So as you know, the major two accepted industry analysts in this region is Gartner and Forrester. So I've just got the reports for Gartner and Forrester. So as per both of them, there are a lot of vendors who are in the PAM market or privileged identity management solutions. So you can see the leaders are CyberArk, Centrify, Tycotic, Beyond Trust, and you have many other vendors. So whenever you choose a product, you need to make sure your use cases are met and you are choosing from one of the market stable vendors. So that's it from a presentation point of view. Any questions?
Perfect. All right. So that's it, Likhit. That's all with the questions. So well, that brings us to the end of this webinar. Before we close it, I would like to thank our speaker Likhit and entire team of Redington team for felicitating this webinar, and last but not the least, you all for being such a wonderful audience. We look forward to see you again in our next webinar coming soon. We will keep you posted. In case if you have any queries, you can always get in touch with us at info@intertexas.com, and we will be more than happy to address them. Thank you, and have an exciting day ahead. We will share the recording with you or an email. Thank you.
Thank you so much, much money.
Thank you.
Thank you, Junaid.
Thanks,
Thanks, Likhit. Thanks.